All right, welcome back to Black Lodge Trivia Night. This is Art, and we're continuing our run through Lord of the Rings Online. Again, it's not the book quests anymore. It's these post-story Black Book of Mordor chapters. Last time we got through chapter 1-1, and sort of giving us a reason to explore Mordor. And we're going to keep going with 1-2, which, let's see, it says Anoth went to the fortress of Durthand in Udun and has not returned. So remember, there's people, for various reasons, coming to Mordor to try and capitalize on the chaos, the fallen empire. You know, some people are just searching for treasure, things like that. So we're going to go try and help. Anoth is consumed by the desire to avenge his ancestors. So that's this guy's motive. So let's get going on that. Where do we need to go? So it's down here. So it's actually not that far. So let's start making our way. I think this was like the forge. Yeah. Maybe. So I was saying last time, it's been a while behind the scenes, so I've probably forgotten some of what was going on, but I do remember saying last time that I'm kind of curious to see where the story goes now that they're not beholden anymore to the books, because I felt like that was one of the good things about early stuff was that it wasn't such a faithful MMO adaptation of okay, we found Anoth. He lives still.
Careful, friend. I have already drawn the ire of the orcs.
Already drawn the ire of the orcs that defend this fortress, and they have sent a number of arrows my way. I returned the favor and slew 2 of the beasts from great range. They are remaining watchful. This was once Durthand, the fortress of which the Thandrim watched on Undun, kept watch on Undun. Called Durthang now, in mockery of its original name. That is another insult for me to avenge, and I will do it. Would you hear the tale of Thandrim? I would recount it to you so you know why I want Durthang taken from the orcs. The tale is emblazoned in my memory. It will be a simple matter for me to tell you, so well it is known to me.
I will tell you the tale.
After the last alliance of men and elves defeated Sauron and razed his tower to the ground, a watch was placed on Gorgoroth. The men of Gondor built many fortifications within Mordor, such as the towers at the Black Gate, the Shadow Guard of Osdaithir, and Durthand. For more than 1,000 years, the Thandrim maintained the vigil on Mordor, but even the most important watches must wane.
My tale begins more than 1,000 years ago, when the watch on Mordor had already begun to fail.
I have heard tales of the bravery of Thandrim for all my life. They were a shining light of Gondor's goodness blazing within the shadows of Mordor. See them now, where they stand defiant and bold. You can see it so clearly, Black Lodge. Durthand, the Black Shield, proud fortress of the Thandrim. It has been assailed many times, but still it stands in defiance of Mordor. I see features of men whose name my family honors to this day. Baenor the Steadfast, who never speaks falsely. Nanhad the Quick, a fighter of unmatched speed. And most clearly of all, Halanon, from whom I trace my lineage. We must not despair, that is the weapon of the enemy. In Gondor today, he is known by another name. The Survivor. 1 year before the fall of Durthand, assassins creep into the towers at Morannon. Every man of Gondor within the Morannon is slain. We're cut off from Gondor, no one can reach us. then we are alone. The morale of the defenders flags with these tidings. King Earnil tries to send reinforcements to Durthan, but they cannot pass the Black Gate. The Thandrim do not know this, of course. They believe themselves abandoned. Food stores run low and hundreds fall to starvation. There are distasteful rumors, but I do not believe them. I have tarried over long in the telling of my story. I will hasten the tale. By the onset of winter, few only among the Thandrim survive. That is when the forces of Mordor come once again to Durthand. Up above, the flying beast returns. 3 only there are, but they are figures out of Nightmare. 2 are the beings we have come to know as Nazgul, the ring wraiths of Sauron. The 3rd may have been a man once, but through the foul sorceries of his master in the Dark Tower, he's become something else. He is Ugricore, the captain of the pit. He comes now to Durthand with an offer. What do you want, Ugricore, state your business and go. Where are the rest of your men? This cannot be all that remain. There are more within the keep. What do you want? These men can barely stand. Your supply of food must be gone, or nearly so. I am moved to pity. You cannot think to hold this fortress any longer. Allow me to grant you this boon, in recognition of your proud defiance. Surrender to me now. Ha, you're a fool if you think we will. I might come back in a day with the same offer. I might come back in a month, or in a year. Will you still be alive to accept my offer? Surrender to me now, and I will grant you safe passage back through the Black Gate. Fortress is lost. Grant me this place, and you need not perish in its defense. Should they have refused? Every man there knew Ugricore for the liar, but the pit of despair into which they had fallen could not be surmounted. They had been hardy men once, but a year of starvation and fear must have taken its toll. No doubt their fear was made stronger by the presence of the Nazgul, but I can understand the draw of even the faintest hopes in that dark pit. The Thandrim surrendered to Ugricore. Durthand was lost. The Thandrim cast aside their weapons, and beneath Ugricore's watchful gaze, they marched to the Morannon, now held by the orcs. The gate opened. 60 men, all that remained of Thandrim, passed through the gate. At a signal from Ugricore, the archers on the walls fill the air with death. Of all the Thandrim were slain, save one. Why, you vile creature? Why'd you do this? They passed the Black Gate unharmed. I promised nothing afterward. Why let me live? Go to your White City. Tell them a new captain rules the pit. That's the story. Only Halanon survived, and his account is kept in the archives of Minas Tirith. It is Trenarn Bronad, the survivor's tale. I say the tale is ended, but that is not truly so, Black Lodge. Halinon's descendants, the son of the survivor, did not forget the Thandrim. Neither did Ugrikor forget them. The years and centuries have passed. From time to time, scouts from the White City would find that Ugrikor had been in Gondor. He had left one of the cloven shields of the Thandrim behind. They were reminders of his cruelty. Even now, 1,000 years later, he leaves them still. Now you know the tale.
And so it was, and only one of the Thondri came alive out of Mordor that day.
Halinon survived, but he was ever changed, and he swore to avenge his fallen friends and kin. He never did, but on his deathbed he asked his sons to remember what had happened at Durthand, and to swear that they would do what he had not. But the years passed, and the sons became fathers, and their sons became fathers, and they told the story of the Thandrim, but they did nothing to avenge them. It seemed that Mordor and Ugrikor would escape judgment. Anoth's eyes are lit by a bright fire. But then it happened. The hosts of the West arose and defeated Sauron's armies in the battle. The borders of Mordor were breached. Sauron was destroyed. Can this be anything other than the vengeance of the Thandrim, long delayed, but finally delivered? Alright, so we're going to get some gloves. As you can see, they have the +2 Light of Irindel, which is, again, this new thing going on here. It seems to be replacing the essences entirely, so I guess it doesn't matter that I didn't learn how to do it. We got medium armor. This is light. We need medium, medium. So we can go evade, vitality, agility, or might, vitality, evade. There's agility or might. Otherwise, it's the same. I'm going to stick with might. Okay, so we're going to... Oh, wait a minute. I didn't equip the gloves. 1 second. Jung, jung, jung. Where are the gloves? Character... I guess let's get rid of those as well. Or... Wait, did I need to equip the gloves, or is that the reward for the... Oh, okay. Yeah, so let's close that out.
And so it was that only one of the Thondri came alive out of Mordor that day.
Oh wait, did I not? Okay. And so it was that only one of the Thandrim came out alive of Mordor that day. Halinon survived, but he was ever changed, and he swore to avenge his fallen friends and kin. He never did. Okay, yeah, he did that. Did I just not choose? Okay, we're gonna go with might. Finish now. There we go.
Betrayed the Thondri more than 1,000 years ago. But my heart tells me that he lives still.
Ugrikor betrayed the Thandrim more than 1,000 years ago, but my heart tells me that he lives still, either through some dark art of Sauron's or some other vile sorcery. Whatever the means of his persistence, I'm glad of it, for it means he will know who is responsible for his undoing. But worry not. I have not abandoned my caution, as I know Rogrin feared. I do not want to ruin this with haste. I have seen orcs on the walls of Durthang, but not so many as must have been stationed here during the war. I think Durthang does not have as many defenders as the orcs want us to think. Let's enter the fortress and see what's going on inside. Defeat enemies inside Durthang, and if there are prisoners in the dungeons, we should set them free. They may know where I can find Ugrikor. Okay. I had the order wrong there. I went shield fist, but I wanted to go... I went, yeah, I wanted to go fist shield. Okay, there we go. So when I equipped the gloves with the +2, that bar got a little bit closer to whatever this threshold is, so I guess that's what I'm trying to clear for the time being. Maybe that's what this area of Mordor. If we get deeper in Mordor, maybe that bar the line moves to the right. I feel like those two guys could probably doing more for the cause. Unless they just have no interest in protecting these orcs. So yeah, it looks like I've got I've got a Light of Arendelle of 4. Shadow of Mordor is at 20, but it's at 16. Okay, so... You know, and I feel bad saying this. I'll be curious how meaningful any of that is, because a lot of the times it doesn't usually mean much of anything in the grand scheme of things. I don't know if I didn't catch if I got that interrupt off. Guess it doesn't matter in the end, but okay, so we've defeat orcs inside. I think we're not in yet, so I guess all this is a waste of time. I thought those counted, but apparently not. Let's go inside. So I hate to be the one to tell him that he's not going to be the one that avenged his fallen. It sounds like I'm going to be the one that avenged his fallen brethren. So... defeat enforcers, defeat sorcerers. Okay. I don't know if I don't think it's input lag, but something was a little off there. Defeat warriors, defeat archers. Okay. Now, I don't know much about the Black Numenorians, except that they've come up, I think, in some of the Middle-earth role-playing supplements that I have. It's interesting, you know, again, there's such a discrepancy, whatever. There's such a gap between when this comes out and when... that, you know, I was doing a recording with Patrick, and we were talking about Middle-earth as a setting, like, you know, we were tier ranking stuff, and he was like, yeah, no interest in in doing Middle-earth, and I was like, that's interesting. He's like, yeah, no, love the movies, love this, and I sort of got where he was coming from. Like, I kind of get, like, you know, there's such a well-trodden path through the center of Middle-earth, so to speak, that just playing ancillary stuff feels ancillary. Like or it's fan fiction if you're not doing the ancillary stuff. And I kind of was like, you know what, I kind of get where you're coming from. Like, yeah, maybe you don't want to be the side chick, or maybe you don't want to just rehash the main story. So it's kind of interesting like that. Because I sit here the whole, you know, I've been playing this forever. It's like, yeah, I mean, the world is so fascinating that just being in here. So, and then Patrick's like, nah. Like, I got the story I need. You know, I've got the story out of that. I don't need, you know, endless tales. I'd rather, not to paraphrase too much, but just play in different settings where that stuff's not locked in so much. Oh, these guys, oh, shoot. I thought they were prisoners. I don't know why. Because there have been times I'm like, oh, do I, you know, when it's my turn in the rotation, do I try something Middle Earth? And I genuinely feel like Patrick and Matt, like, both have no interest in that. And while, you know, the whole point of the rotation is, you know, we all say, yeah, we want to run it, we'll run it. Like, at some point, though, you want your players to be, like, a little bit excited. And I think that if I were going to run something, I don't think I would ever consider running the One Ring Second Edition. I feel like that's really... that might have to be relegated to, like, my solo adventures. As sort of like a quasi-extension of what we have going on here, which, you know, that's not a big deal. That's not a bad way to do it. Because at some points I'm gonna sort of outrun my coverage, outkick the coverage, whatever the expression is, here. And, you know, if I want some more Middle Earth, the One Ring Second Edition might be the way to go. Continue the Tales of my Warden. But I kind of get what Patrick's saying, like, you know, like, as somebody who tends to prefer dark fantasy, this really isn't that, and I might find myself trying to shape it more into that. And I could just either come up with my own... I have a setting that I want to try, or Symbaroum is a setting I really like, or Warhammer Fantasy 4th Edition. You know, there's a lot of other fantasy settings that could do the trick. I feel like I've already searched one or two, didn't I? Quite sure why I can't, what's going on there? Aura of protection, but... trying to figure out if I could do the one I'm always doing with... So I would need Shield Fist. I don't know if there's a Shield Fist. So I could do Fist and Spear. Fist, Spear. So it could be Control C5, C6. Let me try that next time. Because again, one of the big failings, I'm not... So let's try C5, C6. Then that. So C8. Then. Then you gotta wait for the cooldown. It just, I mean, it doesn't matter that much. I mean, yeah, I guess I could see. I guess I could see it. Ooh, I thought he was gone. All right. I feel like I did what I needed to do for chapter. Oh, no. Open cell doors. Okay, I haven't found. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Now I can't get myself out of the stun. Oh, shoot. Okay. Let's see how bad this gets. Alright. Let's, restorative shield work here. See if I can get some control back. Got 5 damage over time stacked. I was kind of curious to see how sort of melted through it. It wasn't crazy. This could be bad. I think what I need to do is I need to, well, I was gonna say I should set them up to be sort of like, I use like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for my gambits. Could I use control 2, 3, 4, 5? I want control 1 to be getting rid of effects. Maybe alt 1 could be that. I'm just trying to figure out, could I put the ones that do 2 gambits at once on a similar number? You could do like control 4, control 5. Oh, come on. Oh, shoot. Oh, I didn't get it off. I was too busy looking at my gambits like an idiot. This is gonna go very poorly. Oh, wait, maybe not. So it was sort of like a double-edged sword. I was trying to do it quickly using the special gambits, but I was delayed because I don't know the controls, and there you go. I wonder if I had a chance in that last one if I wasn't jerking around. Like, if I'd been able to pop Never Surrender, it would have gotten me back to half health. I don't even think this fight's doing anything for me quest-wise. They're just jammed up in this loop. I just want to get to that piece of paper and collect the page. Oh my god. Now, I think if I were a burglar, I think I could actually break combat. Like, I could stun them, or I could get invisible, and I don't know if they would sort of reset, or if it's just a temporary thing and then it's right back to the fight just to get a little bit of a breather, but, and I also think burglars can't, like, interact with objects hidden, which I think is disappointing. Like, I don't know if I could pick up that piece of paper and remain in stealth, even though I think there's logic there that could apply.
But war, plague, and other attritions weakened the kingdom of men. And in time, the watch on Mordor faltered.
Now, is this or am I just leaving? Yep. Oh my god. Ugh. I'm definitely not going to hunt these things down the chest. Like, I just don't care. If I encounter them, I encounter them, but otherwise... I don't feel like I'm going the right way. I'm trying to get to the, what? The open the cell doors in the dungeon. So I want to go down. I keep going up. Nope, didn't do it. All right. Oh, son of a bitch. All right. Tried to be clever, didn't work. Something tells me that glowing eye door is not where I want to go, but I'm just gonna crack it open and see what happens. I just don't quite know where to go for the cells. I mean, there's clearly a lot I haven't explored, but... Oh, southeastern corner of the fortress. Okay, so it tells me literally where to go. Like an idiot, I'm not doing it. But now that I'm here, I want to just crack that door and see what happens. You know, it's tough. If you follow the channel and you sort of see how the back and forth is going, I'm doing this and I'm doing Skyrim. I'm doing a lot of Skyrim. Totally screwed up that gambit. Skyrim. Feels like maybe almost to a fault. It like respects your time. Where I feel like MMOs, by their nature, and what I mean by like Skyrim respects your time, like if you take a quest, it doesn't feel like overly tedious, busy work on some level. Like I feel like the amount of combat I'm dealing with here is a lot. I think I might as well just deal with this guy now because it's gonna happen. Oh, that's the exit. So I wonder what the other... I wonder where the other door... I want to get down here. I mean, you could argue like the quests in Skyrim, maybe a lot of them aren't very consequential sometimes, but they're usually like quick hits. Oops. Where I kind of feel like this isn't interesting enough to... I think I've been doing this now, looking at the recording time, for almost an hour. And so my fear, like as much as I say I'm interested to see where the story goes, now that they're not beholden to the books, my fear is that it's just extra grindy because there isn't really anywhere that's an obvious hook of where to go. Like they don't want you to blow through this too much because there's not much after it, right? Unless you're going to roll up a new character. Which, I mean, plenty of people do. If they're into this game, you're going to do that, but... But that's kind of my fear as I'm experiencing this in particular. Now, part of it is because I got turned around, and you know, but I've done a number of... I've done some of the things. I still have coffers, baubles, and sorcerers I could do if I wanted to really... But, you know, you're going to be running into, like, 55,000 people at every step of the way. It seems... The juice is not worth the squeeze, so to speak. Now, if you've been following me to the Skyrim, I don't know if I said it here as well. One thing I'm really bad at, I know I'm bad at it, is once I complete a main story, sticking around for the DLC, and I feel that there's... I feel myself thinking of this a little bit as DLC. I keep forgetting that the 2 Gambit one also puts the damage over time on them. Alright, thank you. I was going to say, yeah, it doesn't look good. So I'm wondering, does that door count? It doesn't look like it. All right. Which, you know, shit, makes sense. I mean, it's dark. And makes sense. Is this a trick? Hope you're free, brother. You have the thanks of a Yorzen. That should do it. We are getting out of here. We're out. Nope. Too close. What do you mean too close? Oh, he's here. Okay.
Yorzen. I know that name.
Yorzen, the wily, was a Kundalar leader who fought against Gondor. It's one thing to free the downtrodden of their captivity, but that was no villager or farmer. That was a battle-hardened Easterling warrior. He's slain soldiers of Gondor and rangers of Ithilien both. You have to get him back. He may still be somewhere in Durthang. Search in the northeast corner of the fortress, and I will search the west. If we hurry, we might be able to catch him before he escapes and does further injury to Gondor. I thought I was free. Ugh. So I don't see him in here, so I'm gonna go back down the stairs. The guard of this vault has been recently attacked. Okay, so that's why this guy was locked in place earlier. Okay. That Easterling wretch got the jump on me, but I gave him as good as I got. Not enough to stop him from rooting around in the vault, but he'll be as good as dead before he's gone a dozen steps from the fortress. My boys will stick him full of arrows. The trinket he took from the vault won't do him no good. He won't know how to use it. Good riddance to that vile thing, and to the Easterling too. You must be in league with him, and now you'll die the same as he will. Best mithril coin I've ever spent. Oh, nice. Another player. 109 Guardian. Very nice.
Eorzin fled, and I could not catch him.
I saw Eorzin fleeing from the fortress, but I was not able to catch him. Some of the archers up above fired at him, and they never have I wished for arrows to hit their quarry so much as I wished for it then, but he was nimble and he got away. You tell Enoth that Eorzin stole an artifact of some kind from the vault of Durthang, but you don't know what it was. Oh, this is bad. We need to find him before he does real harm, and what he might have taken, and what might he have taken from the vault.
I do not know why Eorzin was imprisoned, but we need to track him down.
Okay. Alright, I don't know why he was being held in prison, but it doesn't change the fact that he was responsible for the deaths of many good people during the war. I feel responsible for setting him free, so I need to track him down. I would appreciate your help with this. I saw him disappear around the rocks to the northeast. He must be heading for Innsmouth, the gate of Karak Angren that bars passage from Undun to Dor Amarth. He must be trying to bring the artifact he stole deeper into Mordor. So, okay, so it's way over here. Okay, so we've got to make our way along the road and down. Let's see, the ears of Ugrakor, and there's something else. All right, so we got out of... did we get out of that? No, not quite. Okay, now we're in the clear, so let's check the map and see where we actually need to go. Okay, I know it's dumb that I keep checking the map, but I sort of lock in on a very specific detail, and then when the next thing enters my mind in the game, I forget the detail. Like here, I was like, okay, I need to keep going south at the fork. Got another player, level 108, Rune Keeper, very nice. Yeah, so that's, you know, it's dumb. It's maybe my aging non-elastic brain kicking in. But, yeah. So I was doing a little bit of research. I was trying to figure out, like, just, like, you know, again, the level cap's like, what is it, 160, something like that? And I was like, okay, how the hell is this going to last until 160? And then I sort of looked up how these books work. You know, and I think we're on chapter 1.4. You know, I think what was throwing me is that, oh, many foes occupy the Eisenmouth. Did Eorzen come this way? Discover the gates of Eisenmouth? Okay, had I not been here before? Maybe not. Maybe I don't remember how to get to, how I simply walked into Mordor. Okay, this might... So what's throwing me is they're calling them chapters when chapter 1.4, 1.3, 1. What it would have been before is like volume 1, book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4. Whoops, my thing's all over the place. Get my head back in the game.
Udun was yielded quickly, heedlessly, after our victory in the War of the Last Alliance, as the Dark Host fled back to make its ultimately doomed stand at Barad-dûr.
Yeah, I guess... oh, no, we came in this way. For some reason, I thought we came down here. We came in here at Black Gate. And they're off. Yeah, so I think what was throwing me is, like, you know, they're saying chapter 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. And so I was like, oh, shit, I'm just going to blow through these because I'm just blowing through. But yeah, again, it's more like volume 1, book 2, book 3, book 4. And each one has. So I think there's actually a lot to this post-game. You know, Mordor, I think, might have, like... Man. I'm gonna speak out of turn here. Oops, as I drop my phone on my keyboard, so who knows what's gonna happen. Let's see. Black Book of Mordor. So yeah, so I don't think I appreciated the sort of new naming convention and what that implied for the length of this. So the Black Book of Mordor has 14 chapters. Each chapter has like decimal points after the fact. So like chapter 1 goes up to 1.6. So you can see how, like, say each one on average is 6. I don't know if that's true. you know, you're at 84 little chunks, right? 6 times 14, yeah, like 84 chunks. You know, and each one, you know, that's a lot. That's a lot. So they definitely aren't skimping. They're definitely not skimping on the, you know, post-official story content. But I'll also, that is a lot. Does this count? These do not. So there was one creature on the other side of the Eisenmouth, and I'm not sure what. Maybe there were 1 or 2 others, but yeah, there's only seems like. Doesn't seem like there's a ton of options here of what to kill, but maybe they just need to respawn. So it's a lot. And so the reason why, like, again, like I'm very curious to see where it, well, what I should say is I'm curious to see where it goes, but I will also say that, as I've said, I have trouble with DLC, so to speak. But I assume that it, I was about to open up the map. I'm in the middle of a 2-on-1 fight, and I'm like, let me look at the map for a second. Like, that's why I die. That's why I'm still terrible at this game. I'll tell you what my fear is. When I see those numbers, I'm just like, I hope the story's... It's basically coming off like the hour in that thing, which I know is partly my fault, right? Like, I get that. But it's just, like, oh crap, if it's just like another 100 hours of like... If it feels grindy on some level, that's gonna be a little rough. Because life is short, and there are a lot of CRPGs I'd love to cover on the channel. And the other problem is, like, I never have anything to say, but at some point, like, what more do I have literally anything to say? Find crumpled paper covered in crude scrawl. To the captain of the pit, Lord of Durthang, my guards did the best they could, but we can't shut the Eisenmouth. As you commanded, the blast of the heat from the mountain bent and twisted the doors, and now they cannot be fully shut. Some few passed through before we received your command, but we now turned away orcs and Easterlings alike. None will get past us. I will send this message to you with one of my finer runners. May he reach you quickly. Okay, show the message you recovered to Anoth near the Eisenmouth. Now, has he made the trip? So I can't tell, are we... Anyway. At the time of this recording, there's some, some Elder Scrolls going on. There's a couple of those that I haven't I'd love to spend some time with. There's older games I'd love to do a little more Darklands. I'd love to try, who knows, like, if I'm on a Bethesda kick, I've never beaten Fallout 3. Much to my shame, chagrin, but more importantly, I've never even fired up for more than, I think, 5 minutes, Fallout New Vegas. So, so there's, and not just Bethesda games, there's other ones I'd love to, the original Fallout, or Wasteland, or, some of the older titles that I really dug as a kid, like The Bard's Tale, or Ultima 6, who knows what, but, like, there's just a lot out there. And MMOs are a lot. What is this? Did Iorzin come this way? You show the message you recovered to Anoth, and he considers it for a moment. This is very interesting. Ugrikor must have commanded these orcs to close the Eisenmouth, but the doors were ruined in the blast from the Ordruin and the upheavals of Mordor. They could not shut them all the way. Fortuitous enough for us, mayhap, but even more so. It seems they have turned Easterlings away and not permitted them to pass the gate without the permission of Ugrikor. Did they turn Iorzin away? Is he still in Undun? Search Undun for any Easterling camp. There is one, Rudvorn, somewhere to the north. He may try to return to his people. Yeah, so, and part of this is just me, being a little like, because, I thought that one fortress is a little meh. And that's what happens. Anytime, like, the story's banging and I'm curious, like, I'm all in. And anytime it's like, I start to get, like, very fair weather friendly. I think we're going, ooh. So I need to go back, and then this is why I keep checking the map, because I'm missing, like, connections in the roads and stuff like that. Discovered the path to Rudvorn. Very nice. Okay, so we are looking to defeat Easterlings. Is that an Easterling? No. At the same time, there's still a lot of Middle-earth to see, and I'm really curious to see what... Because it's, now it's getting into areas that I really know nothing about, because it's not part of other stuff. So we are... I have no idea. We're over here. Okay. So we do have a little ways to go. But yeah, like, here's Plateau of Gorgoroth. So there's obviously tons here. I don't know if there's more. But I think we're gonna, Umbar, Harad, all those kinds of areas. I'm kind of curious what they are. I'm also kind of curious, I don't know. I thought there was some, like, where there's some, like, I thought, like, island starting city where the Mariner is from or something. Or maybe it's not a starting city. Maybe it's just high-level content, but... I am kind of curious to see where that goes. Kind of a little bit nervous. I sort of set up a new audio device, and it's not behaving exactly the way my old one. They're the same. It's a Rode Procaster, but with my current setup, I realized the Duo. I needed the extra 2 faders, and so I sort of traded. Wasn't a straight trade, but I had some stuff sitting on my shelf. I sold it to get to make it like a more straight swap. And yeah, so now when I hit the mute button, the colors changed a different way, so I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it muted. So I'll have to figure it out. Like in the past, like when I would hit like the mute button, it would turn red, and now it turned yellow, which is probably not a big deal. But I think it's just a matter of like what each of the buttons mean and do and yada yada. Yeah, I think, okay, it's probably just that. Okay. Not a big deal. It's, you know, you sort of set things up and forget it, so to speak, and you realize after months, like, you know, I don't exactly remember when I touched this feature last and how exactly it works. I just knew it was working for my uses. I feel like this is going to go very poorly, very quickly. Can I pull? Nope. They're all coming. Yeah. Shit. Okay, this might be a mistake, but let's revive for free. Let's pull back. So I think the thing is I gotta rush him. Oh, it can't have lag, gentlemen. Cannot have lag. Kill 3 sorcerers, alright. Okay, there's no sign of yours, and if he came here, he's gone now. Alright, so I feel like that means I did the sort of chapter part of this. I just don't know. I need 2 more sorcerers. I mean, if I wait 5 minutes, another one's going to spawn there, but that feels cheap in a way. as I stand here letting it happen. Yeah, so like, yeah, with my current setup, you know, it was like, it's 3 computers, PlayStation, you know, I've talked about this before because I had to add a work computer. And then I have like my system audio, game audio, which also can double as like a browser when I'm doing Foundry. Discord chat, which before was not on its own fader. But the thing that was more important was I'm trying to, in order to use less energy, you know, I have a PC that's pretty beefy, but there's no real point to having my PC on like day to day when I'm not doing real stuff. You know, there's no reason to be running a 4080 so that I can have it on in the background. You know, with Discord or whatever it is, you know. So I've been trying to use my... I have a Mac Mini that I use as my Foundry server, but it can also do like my day-to-day stuff and it uses way less power. And so I wanted to be able to individually control the volume of that. And or my PlayStation 5 in my headphones. They both come through an HDMI input. It's the same input. So, you know, it's things like, you know, depending on how much money it saves, it might not make any difference. Maybe it's just me feeling good in my own head. It's not that big a deal, but that was part of it. And also being able to, like, control chat. Because I use chat, you know, not for Black Lodge Trivia Night, but, you know, I use the Discord chat and the chat channel for, you know, for Discord when, you know, I'm doing co-op RPG stuff. With my brother or Zoom. Oh shit, here we go. And the reason why this stuff is because when I'm, like, working, if, like, I gotta be able to, like, very cleanly and quickly be like, okay, I need this, I need that, I need this. You know, this is my Gmail notifications coming on my Mac, I need that. I need to do a Zoom call, I need to make that a certain volume, but I need to look at something in a browser. So I need to make sure I can individually, you know, it's stuff like that. And the nice thing is if I'm ever in person with Patrick and Matt at the same time, which, you know, we do try and talk about it, you know, I don't know if it'll ever happen, especially when I've got kids in college and blah, blah, blah. I'm broke. That's why I had to, like, make sure I had stuff I could, you know, like, what did I have that, I could unload? If I wasn't actually outlaying money for this. You know, now I can handle four mic inputs. I did like the size of the Duo, I gotta say. That fit nicely on my desk. It's a nice size. I have a decent-sized desk, so the other one's not a huge inconvenience, but there's like the Mackie, you know, the Mackie equivalent of the Rhodes, which are just... just massive. Put some hurt on this guy. Anyway, so, the actual point of all this is, so, given now that I understand the structure of the content, it's going to be, I got to figure out how to, on some level, I'm just going to go till I, hit a couple hours and I'm good. But at the same time, I need to make sure, like some might bang out like 3 decimals of a chapter, some might just bang out 1. I don't know how long. It always felt like a book was a good measure. Like you do a book, sort of a new series. I got the idea of how long books often lasted. A couple hours, 2 hours to 3, 4 hours. Usually I was in that ballpark. If I got turned around and distracted, it could have 3 parts to it, but yeah, I think each chapter has multiple decimal points, and each decimal point has multiple objectives. And I know the first one involves Mordor, but, once you get through the Black Book of Mordor, the next one, I don't know where it goes, but I think, it's another part of the story and another part of the world. I do think what could be interesting is they can be self-contained, right? Up until this point, everything was, the Quest of the Ring in some level, aiding the Quest of the Ring. Here it's like, oh yeah, we've done some stuff in Mordor. Let's move on. Really getting some lag. I think part of why I'm being a whiny bitch at the moment is because I'm having gotten into like Elder Scrolls stuff and realizing, I still haven't played, Fallout 3. Fallout 4, I've heard it's not amazing. I've heard Fallout New Vegas is really the peak, but I do want to do Fallout 3 because that's where it all started, for Bethesda at least. I played Fallout 1 and 2 ages ago, and I really enjoyed them, but I also remember they were... who knows, maybe it's not so bad. They were a little sluggish. I like the turn-based combat. It's not the best turn-based combat in the world now that that's sort of become a thing again. And, like Larian Studios and, I guess now Owlcat Games, with their stuff, they're at least offering the option. Anyway. Pillars of Eternity at it. I have never played Pillars of Eternity. I feel like it could be interesting to cover Icewind Dale, which is one of my all-time favorites. Not that I'm good at it, but, so that's why, when I see this, I'm like, every other week for the next 35 years. It starts to feel like, oh no, I'm missing the chance. Even because what it prevents me from doing is sort of really focusing and, for lack of a better phrase, blowing through a game. Although I will say doing the Elder Scrolls on camera is half of what jams me up, so. Okay, so I need to find a Noth on the road south of the... What is this? Have you found a Yorzen? We're getting close. Oh, this might be the last spy that we need to take care of. We'll get that done. Nice. Looked like it was 300 and something thousand.
Do you rejoice to pursue a man who has done nothing?
I know you two have followed my trail. Do you rejoice to pursue a man who has done nothing? There is no kindness in your hearts, no forgiveness. I am a Yorzun the humble, nothing more. When I escaped Durthang, I thought to build my strength, find my allies, and rain destruction upon my jailers and the great multitude of my enemies. But it is not to be. I went first to the Eisenmouth, but the guards would not let me pass. Then I went to my old camp, home to my servants and my sworn men both, and found it hostile to me. They've given Ortakul the command, and my servants and all my sworn men look upon me as a coward, as an unwelcome stain upon the Kundalar, conspirators and ingrates all of them. I sat down here by the road, once mighty Eorzan fallen so low as to have no place in all the world. I am not welcome in Gorgoroth. Even the orcs spit upon me, and there is no place for me within my own kind, despite my long military service and impressive chain of titles and deeds. Ortakul has seen to that. Gondor? Do not make me laugh, vile pursuers. Gondor would not welcome one such as me, and I care not for that invading land anyway. I've been waiting here for you to catch up and put an end to this miserable day. I surrender to you. Do with me what you will, but if you levy death upon me now, you will shame yourself and all you claim to honor. I am a Eorzan, twice imprisoned, first by one side, then by the other. What do you call yourself? Black Lodge? And he is Anoth? I have heard more impressive names. Truly, I have warned them myself. Yeah, Black Lodge is not up there among the great annals of heroic names. Do you want this trinket? It's of no use to me. I stole it from the vault of Durthang, for I thought it might be useful. Yes, I wanted a valued artifact to barter with some self-important, greed-blinded fool. You can have it. Talk to Anoth by the road south of Easterling encampment in Undun. Eorzan gives you the heirloom he stole from Durthang. It has an unpleasant aura about it.
You don't believe his sad story, do you?
I might a little bit. I think what I would like to see from this extra content is I know again they have to fill another 52 levels, but I want to go beat to beat faster. I think that's what because why not now that it's, well, I know why, but yeah, that's what I'd like to see is like, yeah, I just want to follow the stories at this point. I don't want to like sit there and kill 55 of these, 74 of those, have things respawn so quickly it takes an hour to get from A to B. You don't believe a sad story, do you? He was called Eorzan the Wily for a reason, no matter what name he takes for himself now. Anoth clenches and unclenches his fists with frustration. We cannot kill him. He's a surrendered man, and the tale he weaves is one of despair, whether I believe it is truthful or not. If we were to slay him now, we would be no better than Ugrakor, who betrayed the Thrandrum. But we must keep a close eye on him and not forget that he is our enemy. That our other enemies have cast him aside does not absolve him of guilt for his crimes. As for the trinket he gave you, I think any study of it should be reserved for Mithrandir. I feel a great deal of evil emanating from it, and shouldn't the wizard ensure it's not a devious trick of Eorzan's before we accept it? It's a small curio, easily held in one hand, and its design is not of Mordor. I think it was fashioned elsewhere. It may be that its stay in the vault of Durthang has imbued it with the unpleasant aura that surrounds it. Bring it to the wizard and see what he thinks. Anoth sighs, clearly disappointed with the result of pursuing Eorzan. I suppose we have to bring our captive out of Mordor. I do not like this, but we don't have much of a choice now. Okay, bring the corrupted heirloom to Mithrandir, just inside the ruined Black Gates. Okay, so we gotta make our way here. It doesn't look like there's a horse, so let's, okay, so we want, I think we're buried under, I think we're sort of buried underneath. I actually don't know where we are. So let's get to this, let's get to the road. I could do... That's the thing, I just don't know where we are. I could just use them. Okay. Oh, sorry. I was looking over here by the source. We're way over here. Okay. So I think it might be faster to... No, maybe to go back south and over. I was going to use the coin, but I was hoping to learn geography a little bit, because clearly I don't know it at all. So let's make the trip. So again, with all the stuff going on here, you know, I've family's out of town. My one kid's finishing up school, the other is upstairs studying for some tests. Wife's out of town because there's a ton going on with her family, and so I find myself having some free time that I try and like bank a bunch of recordings. And again, I've been doing a lot of the Elder Scrolls, but I had started this and figured, you know, let me close out this chunk, or I maybe get another Elder Scrolls because it's on camera. And I think that's part of why, because I see how far out I've, you know, got banked already, and I'm like, oh yeah, now it's going to be this long before we get to this, and I'm really excited for, you know, to see what people think of that, and blah, blah, blah. Maybe I should just make a focused effort on this and, I don't know. Maybe there's a way to make real progress. I think there was also partly somewhere else I was going with that, and I lost the thread. And again, like I said, a lot of this is... I enjoy doing all this, and it's also practice. You know, learning the audio interfaces, the mics, the cameras, the lighting, yada, 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 yada. And so... it's a really fun way to get, you know, it takes like 10,000 hours to become an expert in something, and I'll never be a real expert in a lot of the technical stuff of this, but, it's a really fun way to work towards those 10,000 hours. All right, making some progress. I mean, again, like, you know, I don't want to bitch too much because this is really impressive. And so I should just, like, you know, adjust my mental approach, enjoy it, just appreciate the journey, so to speak. Don't need to rush, it doesn't matter, and none of it matters. It's not like this is a massive channel with important things to cover and say, so it doesn't really matter. Or at least my part of it is definitely not that. I feel like when we have all three of us together and we're playing a game or discussing stuff, I think it goes a lot better because two reasons. One, I find it more interesting to see what the other guys think, and so I feel like maybe I'm a little more adept at asking questions and sort of pulling topics out of, you know, the discussion in that sense. I don't know if that's true. Is that a Bjorning? I'm just kind of curious what level. It's not letting me... Okay, 133 Bjorning, yeah.
This is far from fair, Ithilien.
I don't know if runes matter anymore. I don't know if I should sell them or not. All right. I think the other thing is when I see it like in terms of the quest, it feels like, oh god, I've got so much more to go. And there's a part of me that really wants to, like, I don't even know if I would stream it, but like hit that and be like, you know, I don't have to do anything, you know, I don't have to do anything, but you know what I mean? Like, there's not like another chapter ahead of me or anything like that. I can just, like, do I want to go like do deeds and just, you know, put like a YouTube video on a second monitor and, you know what I mean?
Over 7 years later, after siege, strife, and victory, did Isildur return as king and conqueror to the Vale of Udun.
Again, like, this is really, really awesome. You know, not just like, awesome dude, but like, you know, awesome spectacle. And I genuinely appreciate what we're looking at here. And, you know, it just, you know, man, again, coming from Archit and Bree, like, to the destroyed Black Gate, just such a journey.
What is this talk of prisoners? You're an Easterling out of Mordor.
You tell Mithrandir about Eorzen and hand over the artifact he gave you. The wizard studies it closely. This is not an heirloom of Mordor, but it is wreathed with corruption. I will see if there's an aught to learn from it, but for now you should not trouble yourself with Eorzen or his purloined gift. Both will be watched, and we will see what might be learned from either.
The air in Udun is filled with choking fumes and unhealthy vapors.
I feel like I have found the foundries of Anglok, but adventurers who have sojourned into Gorgoroth have reported a great deal of discomfort, not only of the spirit, but of the body. The air in Undun is filled with choking fumes and unhealthy vapors, but nowhere worse than that produced by the mines and foundries of Anglok. I've prepared a number of restorative drafts that should bring comfort to adventurers in Udun. I ask that you go to Anglok and give these drafts to any there who might suffer from these maladies. Tell them, too, that they must withdraw. Every moment they breathe the foul fumes brings them closer to harm, and further from real recovery. Okay, so now we're on to 1.5. So I'm looking at the time. I think we're about 2 hours, 15 minutes or so to, you know, in that ballpark. I've done 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. And so this is where I have to because I don't really know, like 1.5, like that's the trick. Like I can justify like, oh, it's one more decimal point. It's not like I finished a definitive Gthunk the way it felt with volumes and books, but man, look at all this. And again, you know, after some rough patches in the end stages of the volumes, you know, great frame rates, yada, yada, yada. If I haven't done it, I think I'm going to make this milestone my new. Okay, so we are trying to go to Anglok up here, I think. So we're going to, yeah, head straight, and then at a main fork, we're going to have to hang a left. I'm going to, again, have to check the map a gajillion times. You know, I had just been praising the frame rates. Now we're dropping, but it's staying over 60. That's the, nope, that's the fork I need. It's staying over 60. So I appreciate that. Because there is, I mean, there's a lot. Discovered the road west to Anglok. Again, have I not been here before? not sure what this wants me to do. Is this one of the... Is this a signal flag? Is it something else? Either way, it's not letting me interact with it. I know sometimes it can be tricky to find the point, but oh well, we'll keep going. We'll say one thing I did fire up relatively recently. Again, at the time of this recording, they released a redone version of Conan Exiles, which is like a survival crafting kind of game in the Conan universe. I know, like, recently the company that made that, sort of made a big splash with their Dune version, which is supposed to be pretty good. And it's interesting because one of the things they did is they redid the whole thing in Unreal Engine 5, and, as I've been doing the Elder Scrolls stuff, one thing I keep coming across is the foundries of Anglock have filled with air of choking fumes. I've found, a lot of stuff about the Oblivion remake and how it's shit. Whatever. That's just what I needed. I'm leaving while I still can. I mean, not literal shit, but like, like performance issues, Digital Foundry's like, yeah, there's still stuff going on, like yada, yada, yada. But I will say the Conan Exiles Enhanced is what it's called, runs beautifully. And I know, again, it's not as maybe complicated, whatever. It looks great. And it's still a really fun one of those. I'm not usually a one of those kind of player, but I really enjoy the Conan setting. The Conan Exiles has a story to go with it. Like, you can, quote-unquote, beat it. Talk to Alaith at Anglock, okay? He's getting out while he still can. They don't spoon-feed you the story. There's, like, a ton of things you can do that's beyond just... there's a lot to the exploration.
You have stopped my men from their tasks!
Alright. What have you done? You've stopped my men from their tasks. I lead this group of adventurers, and if they are not fighting orcs or searching for treasure, they are not doing their jobs. The air in here is foul, that's true, but these are strong men and they cannot use that as an excuse to relax their effort. If you wish to be of help, you can make your way into the mine. It is delved behind the foundries here and descends beneath us for a great distance. Who knows what treasures await us there? If you care so much for the lives of these men, you'd be doing them a service if you thinned out some of the foes that lurk in the mine. No, I'm telling them to leave because the air is the problem, not the orcs. I mean, the orcs are a problem too, but... you might find some treasure too, bring it out here, and I'll return with my men back to the gate so they may recover, but not before. Okay, so we need to go get 6 treasure. Door. Okay, so we've got to defeat orcs in the mines and retrieve treasure. So I think the real thing is retrieve treasure. We need to get 6 of them. I saw a flashing chest up here. I don't know if that's going to count as... No, that's not it. I feel like the music is what's doing it. The music's really coming in hot. Let me see if I can... As much as I love some of the music in this game, a lot of the music, to be truthful. Just in case I overcorrected, let me bump it up a little bit to 0.4. Let's try that, and if it still feels like it's overpowering, then we'll bump it down some more. Okay, collect 10 artifacts, so this is a different... Again, if I don't stick around with this one, I'm not gonna... Or is that one of the 6? No, it's not. These things aren't too tough, so if I end up drawing a crowd, I think I can take them. I just want to see if there's anything... Let's see if we can cross that bridge and see what's over there. Actually, I don't feel good about, Okay, so, okay, so that's how you collect the treasure. You kill those guys. I feel like I should be wanting to free the slaves, but maybe... I mean, that definitely was not an option. Yeah, and again, at the time of recording, I'm continuing to play Gloomhaven. We hit a really tough mission. The game continues to be really good, but there's a mission where we're fighting these, like, oozes. And that's proving to be a tough pill to swallow. I don't think we do enough area of effect kind of attacks. Well, my brother has some good ones, but again, by the time we've sort of run the gauntlet to get to the end of the mission, we're just out of gas, and we haven't figured out efficiencies that we can find to have a little more firepower left at the end of the battle. But it continues to be a really good game. You know, like, I think we're up to like almost 70 hours, which I don't know if that's how long you're meant to play Gloomhaven, but that's how long we've been doing it. And you know, for like $15, it's been really good. The one thing we don't know if we're doing right at all is, like, you know, we've never played the physical board game. We don't have any experience. We've barely looked at the rule book because we're that kind of player. And here we go. We haven't, like, retired anybody yet. And our guys are kind of at max level, and we're worried that, like, we should be wanting them to retire so we can actually level. And then, because what we don't know is, because I thought I remember from the board game that when you retire somebody, they're done. Like, you sort of box them up and put them away. We didn't know if you're just sort of like creating like more options of who you can bring to a fight. Like, if you have, like, you know, this guy's better at this guy's better at that, and you've max leveled them both. Is that the way it works? Or is it like, no, once they're done, they're done. They retired. So I think I need to double check that, because, and also I don't know if the game scales difficulty, like, because I could see that being a mechanic in the board game, because the board game is so cleverly designed. I could see them being like, you know, if it's this level, you're gonna have 5 of these, but if you're a lower level, it's only 2. So we could, like, you know, assuming you don't, you know, we don't lose everything we, like, I've been running a scoundrel and a brute, which, you know, they said they're easy, so because I'd never played before, so I tried it. But yeah, so, like, if we're able to, like, you know, maybe the scoundrel's not the right, or maybe the brute's not the right choice here. I can start, like, you know, take a hatchet and a red knight or whatever. You know, start running them through quests, seeing if we can level them up. Half tempted to, I have a feeling we're probably going to be coming back in here, so I'm half tempted, like, when I kill this forge worker, if it gets me the 6th treasure for 1.5, just handing it in.
Deep in Anglach, with great works and dark sorceries, Grond, the fearsome battering ram which broke the gates of Minas Tirith, was forged.
Oh, look at that, a backup. Again, yeah, this is the good stuff. This is why I don't want to... Let's hand it in, see if he sends us back in.
This is all you found?
These few baubles are the most treasure you could wrest from the mines beneath Anglach, foundry of the great Sauron. Places of great shadow will hold greater rewards, and we are on the outskirts of the lands that were his. Perhaps greater treasures will be found where the grip of the shadow is stronger. Balaith snorts. I don't think he's learning the right lesson from this. Or perhaps you did not know where to look. Just as soon as my men have recovered from breathing in the noxious fumes of this place, we'll be back. The real treasure must be hidden deeper within the mine. Even so, a deal spoken is a deal done. I will do as I said I would, and my men will have a few days to rest and recover before we return. Let's see, what did I need to do? The stones I don't care about. I had 4 worker slaves to get. Let me see if I can get those 4. At least get that one done. And, you know, and this is what I was... This is good, because this is what I was saying I wanted to do, right? I want it to be a quick, boom, go. You did it, you're done. You did it, you're done. If you want to move on, go. If you don't... Or do you think Gandalf's going to send me back down here? Maybe that's a possibility. Seeing forge workers, but no slaves. Part of me feels like I should have, up top, just dropped down behind a lot of these. I'm not sure why I'm buying. I should just boar rush them right into the ground. Oh, it's dark. All right. Oh, okay. So he counts as okay. So they're not labeled as such. I just need to look for the ones that are more humanoid and take them out. What do we need? We need 3 more? Okay. Now, while I don't intend to chase after all 27,000 pages of the book, when I get the pages of the book, I do like the little bit of story we got, like that last bit about how, like, we at the forge where they, formed the battering ram that took out the gates of...
Gunfalk and Mormagath the Shadowhammer were foremost among the fearsome weapons forged with this new alloy, so he took them for his own.
Okay, still looking for one more slave, and I feel like it might be better to go to the other room. I've gone deeper into the mine. Can I go even deeper? I feel like I can go even deeper, but I'm curious if it's just going to become more and more creatures. Maybe not. There's one. Okay. Get the whole party going. A little bit of delay there. It seemed like it seems like that light damage over time does affect the group. which I was actually surprised. Let's see if that... Yeah, it seems like that's pretty cool. All right. Okay, is it one more or two more? I've got 5. There's one more here. So let's Actually, these guys go down easier, so I should boar rush. Like 182,000. Very nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just peace out of here.
This land makes my skin crawl.
Let's get back to Gandalf.
To linger so near to Anglach is unwise.
I saw a group of treasure seekers returning from Udun, so I know you did your duty and compelled them to return. They do not value their lives as greatly as they value their treasure. If they continue on the course, they will soon have neither. Treasure makes fools of all men. To linger so near the mines and foundries of Anglach is unwise. For these seekers of treasures or indeed for any, who can say what foul work was undertaken for Sauron at Anglach, or what terrible craft was done there in the name of his war? Eorzen, sitting nearby, laughs coldly.
He fancies himself a wizard, does he? Eorzen knows about wizards.
And wants nothing to do with them. They are not as wise as they claim to be, nor as impartial. He says, none know what was made at Anglach, but that is already not right, for I know well. The great ram Grond was made there and wreathed about with spells. I saw it destroy the gate of the tall city myself, and if things had gone otherwise, there would have been no stopping it. Yes, I was in the war councils and I heard the plans for Grond. Can this so-called wizard claim that? No, he cannot. It was a matter of pride for me, Eorzen the included, but now I've been replaced. Replaced by Orcatul. No doubt he will not last. That at least is cause for comfort.
He is impudent, and he is impolite, and he is abrasive.
Mithrandir raises an eyebrow at the faintest hint of a smile, as a faintest hint of a smile emerges beneath his beard. He also may be useful. I have had an idea.
Mordor has been closed to the eyes of Gondor for more than 1,000 years.
Ever since the fall of Durthand and the expulsion of Thandrim, what transpired beneath the shroud of Gorgoroth remained unknown to us, and it brewed a bitter cup of rumor and worry and fear. That I was in aid of Sauron's plans as ever, for he knew... that was an aid of Sauron's plans as ever, for he knew the uses of fear better than any creature in Middle-earth. But we have one in our keeping who witnessed the last days of the War of the Ring from the other side. Eorzen walked in Mordor when the peoples of Gondor and indeed all of Middle-earth could not pass the bounds of that land. What did he see? What does he know? He claims he was involved in high councils of war. Perhaps that's true, and perhaps it's not, but there's no question that he may have knowledge of Sauron's lieutenants that we simply do not. Can he be forgiven of his crime? If he can be so forgiven, he might be given a new life in Gondor in exchange for the information he possesses about Mordor and the power structure in the Black Land after the downfall of Sauron. Speak to Aragorn. It must be he who will forgive Eorzen of his crimes, if any will. Okay, so we're at 1.6. So what I think I'm going to do, I think for this video, it might be a little long, but I think I'm going to finish 1.6 because I think 1.6 is the end of 1. So we'll just we'll put this all together in one video, however I stitch it together. And now, like, I think I might do a little more homework on how long each part is, just so like, okay, I know this is an 8-parter, so I've done 4. I think I'm going to go in with a little more knowledge.
Place in Gondor for the Nunhoff. Does Eorzen merit the same treatment?
I've already been approached about making a place for Nunhoth in Gondor. For their enslavement in Mordor has stirred the hearts of the folk who freed them. I do not know if Eorzen merits the same treatment. The Nirnhoth were cruelly mistreated by the overlords in Udun and elsewhere. Freedom was just a distant half-remembered tale to them. But Eorzen led armies against us. He commanded his people to fight during the war, and many good men died on Kundalar blades before the White City. This is not an easy choice to make. Aragorn is silent for a moment, considering. Then he comes to a decision. The words of Mithrandir have not oft led me astray. Eorzen will be given a new start in Gondor in return for the knowledge he can give to us of Mordor. Speak to the wagon driver, Rathnor, and arrange for Eorzen's passage to the city.
What's that? Another fellow needs passage back to the city.
Aye, I'll accommodate him. There won't be much room, but I've got a little more space if folk are willing to sit close. I should tell Eorzen that he will have a place in Gondor.
What is it?
You tell Eorzen that the King of Gondor has agreed to a bargain. Eorzen will be given a home in Gondor and his crimes washed away in exchange for what he knows about the situation in Mordor. The Easterling studies you carefully, and then he breaks into laughter. How grand! An offer of pardon from Gondor. I spit at this offer. I'm not interested in the charity of this king. I have not yet decided which side in this contest will be the victor. Ooh, I feel like the two sides in the contest, there's only one left. One side's gone, but maybe you're saying this confused, disrupted amalgam is gonna, I don't know. Why then would I ally myself with any of you? I've seen nothing to prove that Gondor will triumph in the days to come, but I know of many dangers that lurk still in Gorgoroth waiting. Your people have brought Nirnhoth through the Black Gate and freed them from captivity. I have an exercise for you. Speak these names to them and ask yourself why I would side with Gondor when there are foes in Gorgoroth such as these still alive, still active, and still angry. Speak the name Dulgabeth, speak the name Ugrakor, speak the name Uradani. Does Gondor possess such terrors as these? I think it does not. Okay, so there's still people he fears. Or maybe it's not so much that he fears, he just knows how much of a threat they are, and that Gondor may not have an answer for them. Itli shudders when you ask him about Dulgabath and clenches his fists. I can tell you nothing of him that a dozen others could not. He was the mouth of Sauron, and his knights rode at his command. They plucked me from my village by the sea and marched me long leagues to Udun, where I was put to work at the forges. I only saw the mouth once from afar, but he was too busy with Sauron's errands to spend time tormenting the Nirnhoth. But Sauron's gone, and if the mouth had a leash, it is now off him. We should not be speaking of him here, so close to Mordor. It will bring ill fortune. Speak no more of me to me of him. Okay.
Ugrakor knows no mercy. He delights in death.
Uja stares at you with wide eyes, and when he speaks, it is no more than a whisper. Ugrakor. He is the captain of the pit. He knows no mercy. He delights in death. Tears well in his eyes as he speaks. His face, terribly scarred, but not always. They say Sauron punished him for something. Held him to the fire. Uja falls silent and will speak no more, but his trembling persists for some time.
You should not speak of Urudani.
Aram stares at you coldly. You should not speak of Uradani. They say if you speak her name, she hears it and will come. Her kiss is death. Her embrace torment. Have we not suffered enough? Let the stone maiden slumber and awaken her not. Okay, so clearly they're concerned. Alright, so I guess we're going to talk to Eorzen again, now that we've gotten a little backstory of what's going on.
Do you see? Sauron may be gone, but his servants were many.
Alright, do you see now? Sauron may be gone, but his servants were many, and they were beings of power and terror. I've not seen anything of Gondor that can hope to stand against even these three, and that is not the full extent of his lieutenants. Okay, so going back on what I said, he's not wrong. Like, one side is not standing anymore, but it's not because Gondor power smashed it into oblivion. It's because they had a secret get-out-of-jail-free card with the ring dropping into Mount Doom. So yeah, maybe he's not entirely wrong, now that I think about it out loud for a second. And so I become Eorzen the Unwilling, and refuse this so-called king's offer of pardon. I will remain between the realms until I taste which way the wind blows. Right now the breeze is rank, and it comes from Gorgoroth. Same time, this guy's talking to myself in the third person, just giving myself nickname after nickname. So, a little bit of like, ugh. Let's see what Gandalf has to say.
I believe Eorzen will still be useful to us.
Indeed, he already has been so, for I think the artifact he stole from Durthang can be made to serve our purposes. And further, he's given us an idea of the evils that wait within Gorgoroth. The shadow that hangs on Mordor is too deep for you to pierce it without help. Powerful help, sorry. But pierce it you must if you are to combat the villains of whom he spoke.
The artifact Eorzen stole from the vault of Durthang bears a powerful corruption.
All right. So that's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is the heirloom of the High King. I've studied the artifact that Eorzen stole from the vault of Durthang. It bears a powerful corruption, but it was not made in the land of Mordor. It came from elsewhere, and the corruption that envelops it stems from its long stay in the Black Land. If this evil could be cleansed, I believe that Elrond could imbue it with a powerful and vital force for good. Before that can happen, however, we must do something about the corruption that Mordor has worked upon it. There are different methods to accomplish this, though the wise disagree upon the effectiveness of each. My preferred means for such a cure is to bring the corrupted item to the place where it was made, or to places of some significance upon its path, and thereby diffuse the foul touch of Mordor that has, in the interim, claimed it. We must learn the story of this heirloom before it came to Mordor. The wizard turns the artifact over in his hand, studying it for some clue to its origin. To your eye, the heirloom is a small badge or medal, reminiscent of tokens worn by soldiers standing at their posts. There is a slight depression here, but it has been worn smooth by the passage of time, and the edges are difficult to discover. Even so, I can feel enough of the indentation to state with certainty that it was once in the shape of a star with 5 points. To my mind, that marks the badge as having once belonged to a guard of High King Elendil, perhaps of Annúminas, seat of his power in the north. Bring it to that city and see if you can cleanse the corruption that now encircles it. Tekeron of the Dunedain has returned to Annúminas to keep the peace there, and may be able to help you. I gotta say, I actually really like this. I like the idea of like, hey, you know, the world's still a big place, and it all should still matter. And so I really like the idea that we're heading back to Annúminas to at least check in, you know, like the real story is here and what we need to do is here, but, you know, but there are still important people throughout Middle-earth that I like the idea of keeping them incorporated. I would love to go back to Bree. I'd love to go back to, you know, it would make sense at some point. I think we're going to talk to Elrond, so we're going to Rivendell, right? It makes sense. I really like that. It's one of those things where I think I said, like, I like running through Bree when I was like level 43, but seeing somebody that's like 120, because in my mind, I like that they had a reason to still come back. So, yeah. So there we go. That's chapter 1 of the Black Book of Mordor. Again, you can see here from the deed that there are 14 chapters. Who knows how many videos it will take to get through each chapter, but yeah, despite my whining a little bit, like I'm excited to see where this keeps going. At some point, like I said, you know, when I first started this, I said I don't promise a complete playthrough because that'd be crazy. I still don't. At some point, like, I want to be able to reserve the right to be like, you know what? Like, at the moment, I'm not having fun, and I just want to stop until I get the itch back. But at the moment, that's not the case. I am still kind of curious to see where this goes. So, anyway, yeah, this has been Black Lodge Trivia Night. I'm Art, doing our Lord of the Rings Online main story run. But mainly, we are a tabletop RPG actual play podcast. If you're watching this, you found our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, notification bell stuff, comment if you want. We appreciate everybody who's checked the channel out and is subscribed. We're got tons of different RPG systems. At the time of this recording, we're doing Pathfinder 2nd Edition Season of Ghosts. It's going really well in terms of being really fun. It's going really poorly in that I seem to defy the odds of randomness and seem to just play terribly, just roll terribly. And I feel like there's things about my character I haven't quite grasped, but I'm starting to get a handle on some things, so we'll see how it goes. But we've got a Discord if you want to jump in. If you prefer audio versions of our actual plays of tabletop RPGs or our discussion podcasts, or if we ever hopefully get back to it, our Souls discussions, just search for Black Lodge Trivia Night wherever we get your audio and we should show up. But otherwise, thanks again. We'll definitely be back with more CRPGs and more tabletop RPGs. So take care. Bye-bye.